It's White Lies, live on KCRW, coming to us from the Village Studios in West L.A. We have Jack Lawrence Brown, Charles Cave, Tom Bowen, and Harry McVeigh. You guys sound great.
Thank you very much.
How's everything going over there at the Village?
It's quite nerve-wracking playing music live on radio.
Well, don't worry.
To be honest.
No one's listening. So it's been a really big 2009 for the band. The album's been a sensation. We've watched things take off in a fairly short and intense period of time. How are you coping?
We're all very fatigued, I think. We've been working very hard for a long time, but we feel great about the success the album's had so far. Especially back home in the UK, the record going to #1 was such an amazing experience for us. So yeah, we've had an amazing year so far.
You've been friends really since childhood, or most of you have?
Yeah, well, Charles and Jack have known each other since primary school, which is from the age of 6 years old, 6 years old. And I met these guys when we were about 13, 14 years old. And, very shortly after that, we started playing music together.
Well, that's got to, help this whole process.
Definitely.
Not that I want to, frame the rock and roll superstar lifestyle as particularly, horrible and trying, but, all the touring has got to take it out of you.
Certainly. I think it's actually more, the traveling from place to place. Before we were here, we were just in Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, and those flights are long, and it really does take it out of you. And looking forward to a few days off, maybe at Christmas.
Sure. I caught you at Coachella, which is is such a kind of coveted slot for any band coming up to play Coachella here in Southern California. Did you enjoy your experience out there?
Yeah, very much so. It was hot, it was intense, the heat down there, but it's obviously one of the most highly regarded festivals in the world, and it was an honor to play it. We had a great time there. Are
there any memories of a particular gig where you just kind of looked out and thought to yourselves, wow, it's really happening for us right now? I
think earlier on this year, in May, we played a headline tour of the UK, which was actually the first time that we played a headline tour since our album came out there, and so there was obviously a lot of excitement, a lot of people waiting to see us and excited to see us, and it was great to play some of the biggest venues we played and headline them and have that many people there singing your music back to you. It was an emotional experience. It was amazing. And, I can't wait for the headline tour we've got back home at the end of the year. It's going to be really exciting for us.
What's the biggest Spinal Tap moment so far, if you can think of one? Have you like that scene when they're looking to find the stage and
there's been a few times like that. Like there are some labyrinths backstage sometimes.
There's a venue like that in Birmingham, the Birmingham Academy, I think, and there is a route to the stage from the dressing room. It's about 5 or 6 minutes walk, and you have to go through this one room that is where all the air conditioning is kept. And you sort of step into there and suddenly you feel like you're in a wind turbine or something. It's quite unpleasant actually before you're about to go on stage, but yeah.
A little disconcerting as you hit the stage. Like, where are we? So the album is rife with themes of death and love and more death and more love, but hopeful in the end, very hopeful and uplifting. But these are powerful themes for people, really, and the power of music. And actually, one thing I noticed at the show at South by Southwest earlier, by the way, thank you for playing KCRW's event, that daytime event, if you can recall.
Yeah,
the
Cedar Street.
The Cedar Street thing,
yeah, it was cool.
Thanks for playing that. But anyway, at that show, there was a group of 4 or 5 guys. They looked English, and they knew every word to every song, and they were just jumping up and down, kind of making a spectacle of themselves. But it was a great example of the power of music and lyric, and that's got to feel good when you see that kind of reaction. Certainly,
yeah. I mean, it's good to see people reacting to our music in the same way that we do, and getting the same things that we get from it. That's exactly the reason that we write the songs with the subject matter they have, but in sort of the uplifting way that they do, is because it's it's very therapeutic almost to have a release like that and to vent those emotions through music, and it's really nice to see people reacting to that.
What's the most interesting thing that a fan has done? Be it tattoo or something, just to kind of show their intense connection to the music?
I think in Japan, not this time, we were just there the other day, but the time before, this one fan, I mean, they like to make things for bands and give you gifts and things. And this one girl had made each of us a kind of a very small fold-out card that just had a drawing of each relevant member and a certain sort of segment of the artwork from either the singles or the album, whatever. But it all kind of popped up, like a pop-up book, and it just looked as though it had taken her hours and hours to make it. So we were all pretty touched by that. I think I've still got mine somewhere.
Still got mine.
Yeah,
definitely.
in a sort of safety box at home. But that was pretty dedicated to put that much time in.
That's good. So what's next for you guys? Are you thinking about the next record?
Certainly thinking about it. We haven't. The downside to us touring a lot is that we don't have the time away from it to start writing new material, and that will come probably at the beginning of 2010, beginning of next year. I don't think we're going to take too long about it. I think we're going to try and get back into the studio pretty quickly and start working on some new stuff. And we're certainly very excited about it, but we just don't have the time at the moment.
Sure. I talk to a lot of different artists, and everyone has a slightly different process, and some are very open to other influences in their creative process, and some are very, very closed. They just kind of go away to a log cabin somewhere in the wilderness to write. How do you approach the process? Do you let things influence you? Are you always listening to other music?
I don't think we go looking for influences, but I think certainly the music you're listening to at the time that you're writing will certainly have a slight effect on the output. We have a very, very broad taste of music, and as three individual members, when we write, there's a whole load of different influences from us individually that come into the mix, and I think that's what makes the music quite eclectic, I suppose.
Are you still learning how to be a band?
Definitely.
I was talking to a band yesterday. I was talking to Gomez, if you know them, yesterday, and they were saying how they were thrust into the spotlight with their first album, and they won the Mercury Prize and everything that happened, and they were admitting that they weren't fully a band at that point.
I think we're much as I think we're all sort of still very much in love with the first album that we made, and we played some great gigs, a year ago. I think we're a much better band now, as you'd hope to be, really, after playing 250 gigs or something since the album. But I think it's important always for a band to keep evolving. And that's on so many different areas, with it, songwriting, performing live, playing live. Even as guitarist and bassist and singer and whatever, you have to keep trying to sort of up your game a bit. Otherwise, I think you get stuck in a bit of a rut.
Sure. I saw online that you have been doing a cover of Portishead's "The Rip," which I'd love that song. We
might do that for you in a couple of minutes.
Well. Well, let's get into the second set then. White Lies, live on KCRW. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you very much.